Kimberly Berman, an analyst over at BMO Capital Markets. Thank you so much for joining us at the One-to-One conference.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, you are an expert on battery metals. This is your field of expertise, correct?
Yes.
I'm so happy to have you on today to educate me and the viewers on this, because there's so much talk, obviously, surrounding electric vehicles and the future.
Absolutely.
So when we're looking at the battery space, which metals are poised to benefit the most from this EV revolution?
I would say, lithium obviously is the key ingredient to any chemistry that you put together. So whether the cathode is made of nickel, cobalt, manganese, or if it's, nickel, cobalt, and aluminum that's used in Tesla products, lithium is the key ingredient to all of them. But the other one is nickel as well as cobalt. Just because nickel is what gives Tesla cars that oomph, that acceleration, the performance. And so that's why the industry is going towards higher nickel. However, cobalt tames the nickel. There's one problem in the chemistry where nickel competes with lithium ions when they go back and forth. When lithium goes back and forth between the anode and the cathode, when it's charging and discharging, on the cathode side, nickel starts to go into the cathode instead of lithium, and then the hole closes. And then so this mixing problem is solved by 20% cobalt.
Interesting, and fascinating to learn that it's nickel that's really giving the Tesla the superpower. So I just learned it could go faster than a Ferrari, which was news to me.
That's true at the beginning, yes.
They go that fast. So now we're seeing more and more car manufacturers, Audi, Ford, Porsche, jumping on the EV wagon. Yes. So what route will they be taking? Is it the same as Tesla? Is it the same technology we'll be seeing?
No, it's not. So the Tesla technology is an NCA, and they are pretty much ingrained with that particular technology. So their strategy has always been to incrementally improve that technology. Right. And Porsche and Ford and everybody, and including the Chinese market, they're going the NMC route, which is nickel, manganese, and cobalt.
Something really fascinating here, Kimberly, is in your report, you indicated that EV cobalt demand may not be impacted through 2025 or until an alternative is found.
That is correct. Our models are based on the fact that it takes a long time to change the chemistry, and a tweak is never a tweak. So you can't go from 20% to 10% without some repercussions down the road, and this is what they're finding. There's a classic NMC chart that everybody sees it as you increase nickel, all of a sudden the longevity and the safety comes down. So cobalt is part of making sure that battery is safe and that it lasts a long time. So cobalt is an integral part of that. So when you remove it, then you've got all these other issues. You've got the longevity issue and the safety issue that has to be addressed.
And how long do you think it will take before we see mass adoption of EVs?
That's a very good question. Every market's different. So in China, as you know, it's the regulatory, the government is forcing, EV adoption and funding it and driving that innovation. In Europe, it's a grassroots there's high regulations. There's a grassroots movement to decarbonize the economy, and they're looking at innovative ways in order to address those issues. In the United States and in Canada, I believe that the range anxiety issue is a much bigger problem here, just because of the length of time it takes, the traffic situation, congestion, as well as the temperature performance. If in cold weather, for example, we're seeing 60 to 70% range reduction. In hot weather, we're seeing about 30%. So these things have to be addressed in order for mass adoption to happen.
That would be my hurdle, my personal hurdle.
That would be mine too.
Right, of having to pre-plan, if I'm driving from Montreal to Toronto and having to really scout out locations of where I'll stop, for example.
And then if there's charging congestion, you've got an extra hour. Do you really want an extra hour added to your drive? One of the things that I see happening first is that EVs are adopted as a commuter car. So it's the extra car that you have that you use to go to the office and back, or to do small errands around town, but not yet for that large vehicle. With a family of 4, you're not going to add 2 hours to your long haul trip.
Kimberly, thank you so much for stopping by. I know you'll be taking part in a panel today.
Yes.
So I'll let you get to that, but thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.